Now, bringing you the very best in New Hampshire-based local music on IPMNation.com and 100.1 The Planet, this is Local Outbreak. On the couch, we have a couple of very fine musicians here today. Now, Molly Diago, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, you are. That's me.
Okay. She's you've been on the show. How long ago was it when we did that? We did a phone interview.
Yeah, I think it was back in March when my last single came out.
Okay.
We came on the show and it was so fun, so I'm back for more.
Great song. It gets stuck in my head. So.
Thank you so much.
Really.
And, we deeply appreciate you. So thank you so much for having me again.
Absolutely. And I'll let you introduce your partner in crime here.
Yeah, I also have Jimmy with me today. He is jamming with me on the guitar.
Hey, how you guys doing out there?
Hey, Jimmy, welcome. And what are you in the midst of a tour or?
No, well, sort of. So we did a couple of different radio shows the last 2 or 3 weeks, and this is our second to last one, and it's been super fun. But just doing some radio here and there, saying hi to all our friends and all the cities all over the Northeast. So it's been great.
Oh, very good.
But this is our favorite for sure.
Oh, well, appreciate that. How many stations total have you?
This would be number 5.
Okay.
I think that we've been to. Yeah,
okay. Excellent.
Sure.
Excellent. And what's kind of the long-term trajectory? Do you have more music coming out, or are you going to be?
The long-term trajectory is to get to tomorrow.
Yeah.
I haven't figured out, But yeah, no, I have a record coming out next year sometime.
Oh, good. Okay.
And hopefully a single sometime in February, which you guys will be the first to know. So we're just kind of, we put out a single, and then I had a lot of management difficulties, and so I basically had to fire everybody and start over.
Really?
And that took a lot of time. So we kind of have to reboot the machine now, from scratch, because, the single did great, thanks to you guys, in part. And so, we're kind of trying to get out there and do some stuff to get people back knowing who I am and being excited, So
yeah,
super appreciate you having me today, of course.
Very nice.
We love it. Yeah.
Very good.
Sure.
Very good. Welcome.
I'll give a little teaser, but I got to hear you sing a little bit before we went live.
And you're still alive. That's good.
Stop it. You sound just like the recording. You're not like seriously. When do you guys get to hear this lady sing? Because I was like, what? It took like a double take. I love your song anyway. I really do. I really love the song. But your voice is phenomenal. Your voice is absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you so much. So what you're saying is I'm paying my producer too much.
I don't. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Don't let them overproduce you. They don't need to overproduce you. No.
Thank you so much.
You really do have a very beautiful voice, and it did capture my attention. As you're like, she's like perfect.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, hopefully I can carry it for another 30, 40 minutes, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I thought you were going to say like 30, 40 years, but
that's what you meant.
Like I said, let's get through this performance, and then we'll look 5, 10 years.
I like it
for sure. Thank you.
It.
But thank you. That's a super sweet compliment. Always appreciate it.
I genuinely mean it. I absolutely do mean it.
Thank you so much.
You guys have to wait. I'm just going to tease you.
Yes, Heartbeat Golden in the chat says, we say that you have a wonderful voice, #Molly.
Oh,
So
thank you. Heartbeat Golden. Well, we hope you stick around after California Dreams or whatever you're doing over there in Greensboro.
DJ
Hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag.
DJ Steve is in the chat room. Hello. And Alex Whiteley says, our friend from the UK, life without music would be dull. Hats off to any performer willing to wear their hearts on their sleeve the way that they do. Very nice. Very nice. You mentioned management difficulties. Can you probably don't want to be specific about it, but I don't know. Can you just, we do talk about, because of my background, sometimes we talk about music industry stuff on the show. It doesn't come up that often, but it does come up. Is there anything you can say about that, or a cautionary tale, perhaps? For
I would love to be specific and drop these individuals' names, but they don't deserve the time of day. But So I was with a really large firm before COVID. I was super lucky. Finally, everything was aligning, and then COVID happened, and they dropped half their roster, including me.
Oh.
So I was like, sort of back to the start. Also, I was a guitar player for a really long time, and then I started singing because I wanted to be my own boss. So like I said, everything was going really good, and then COVID happened, and I got dropped, and then I had to start over. So this person came along who was sent to me by somebody who had industry credits. Actually, my producer, his name's Sahaj Tikatin. He's from the band Raw. And he's like, hey, check this lady out. Like, she's starting a new company with management, whatever. She told me that she worked with Universal Records, Capitol Records, all of this stuff. So I did about a year with her until I realized that none of that was true.
Oh, no.
She was a total, scam. So wasted a year. And actually, I found out a week before my song came out. So,
oh, no.
A little thing about music, when you have a single, especially if you're saying it to radio, it takes about 6 weeks to load that in, to get the programmers on board, everything. And so it was about 10 days out. And I had asked her, I'm like, what's going on with this? And she's like, oh, she had nothing. So 10 days before the song, we're scrambling to do interviews, to do get programmers involved. So I think it could have been even better than it was if I had proper management. So then once I fired that crew, I had to start over. And now actually I have a great team of people. One of the gentlemen who's helping me is actually the guitar player for Three Doors Down, which is really cool. So he's kind of sent me on a trajectory to avoid the garbage that I dealt with before. But there's a lot of predatory people out there. And so I guess the cautionary tale is no matter who you are or who tells you, about somebody, do your own research and, check your references. Because, it even happened to, people like us. So,
yeah.
I would love to, like I said, I would love to drop those names, but they don't deserve the time of day. So,
yeah.
For sure.
Was that a situation where, so you had paid for radio promotion? Was it that kind of thing?
So... Yeah, yes and no. Most of it was because everybody has a radio agent, when you get to this. So we had hired who I thought was a radio agent to shop our song. And like I said, 10 days before, I said, I want to get on the phone with this guy. Who is he? And so she gave me some name and I contacted him. He's like, who are you? I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
wow.
I stayed in touch with someone from the really big agency I was with who actually moved on to Interscope Records. And he's like, listen, I got you. So he hooked me up with a gentleman named John Coons, who is also on my team still to this day. And within 10 days, they still pulled it off. And we managed to chart amazingly in the top 40. So thank God I knew good people that had my back, because that was a nightmare. Especially because we had 9 months between song inception and release to get this together. So the shock of being 10 days out and having nothing, no press. Oh, it was awful. It was, but shame on me for not, being on the ball. But still, you have an executive from Capitol Records or Universal managing you. You're like, I think they got it, but no, wrong. Right. All wrong, all fake. So it was terrible. And the guy who connected me to her, obviously he feels terrible now. He didn't know himself. So
yeah,
there's con artists, man, everywhere. It's awful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
From that, do you have any advice for musicians who might be listening who, haven't gotten to that point in their careers yet, but they may be approaching that point where they're going to be looking at, radio promoters and managers and all of that? Do you
Pick
have any?
A different career? No, just kidding. Don't do that. Follow your heart. No, but have a good backup.
Yeah.
I think there's really good people out there, and it's just really hard to network. Actually, because of this, from my experience, I'm actually founding a new company called Blue Room Talent, which is live as of yesterday, blueroomtalent.com. It's a group of musicians that have come together for this purpose to ensure that baby bands, as we call them in the industry, are not taken advantage of, vetting resources, connecting them to service professionals who we know are for real.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to seek advice, and counsel. And because even me as a young artist, I thought I knew everything. I had one good song and I'm like, wow, I'm like Britney Spears. It's like, no, you're not. But tone the ego down and take advice and make sure you're thorough in your reference check and all that stuff.
Due diligence. Yeah,
absolutely. But not to drop my own stuff, but blueroomtalent.com is absolutely now live, and we're super excited, hopefully, to be able to avoid crises like this happening to other people in the future.
Excellent. We have somebody on the line who I think might be related to you.
Oh boy.
Hi, caller, welcome, you're on the air. Hello, who's this?
Hi. Yeah, I have a question for Molly.
Yes.
The question is I know she's so busy with music, and I feel so bad to hear she.
Is that my mother?
Well, yes.
Oh,
Good try.
hi, Mom.
There you go.
She turned me in already. Hi, baby. Yeah,
Everybody
but
knows
you know
my
the
mom.
funny thing about Miss Mally is she's a lawyer. So how these people think that they're going to scam her? Not going to happen.
I know, but even the lawyer got scammed. So it happens, you know. It happens to the best of us.
It's not an unusual tale in the music industry. That's for sure.
Yeah, so if I was the people listening, I wouldn't mess with her.
I have a question for the
That's
caller.
just mama.
Actually, caller, did you call in just to let everybody know that
I love my baby, and then I better go because I'm already going to get murdered.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Your mom rocks.
How did you know that? At the time, it says.
The caller ID, I saw the last name.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh
A
boy.
little educated guess going on there. That was awesome.
What were you going to ask her? I'm curious.
I was going to ask her if she called in just to let the world know that, because my mom, although she loves music and everything, she was the biggest person in my life to say, make sure you have an education, you know. And so me talking about what I would advise other people, I'm sure that's what she's really calling in for, is, the backup. And she's very proud, of course. Yeah. But no, she is my biggest supporter, you know, and I really appreciate that. And she didn't embarrass me too much, so I think we're okay.
Yeah,
I think we're good. But
Excellent.
That's funny.
We did talk about that during our phone interview about how you're also a lawyer.
I am. Yeah.
And that was interesting to me too. Again, just myself coming from a music industry background, because I would think that would be enormously helpful. I mean, obviously, it's not something that's going to protect you from this all the scammers. You know, lesson learned there.
Sure.
But I would think, as far as like when obviously if somebody puts a contract in front of you,
Of course.
you know.
Yeah, it's been great, and it's also been terrible, because I think sometimes anytime a lawyer comes in the room, everybody's like, oh, you know.
Right.
And so to walk into
Shoot,
negotiations,
this one really
and stuff-
has a lawyer.
Exactly.
Everybody says, I'm going to talk to your lawyer.
So the problem is when the artist is also a lawyer, they're like, well, you know, we can't. So sometimes it's hard because they know that there's, you know, nothing, you know. I know a little bit about what should be going on here. So in that way, it can be, you know, sort of a disadvantage. But in terms of me helping my friends, I have a lot of friends who are musicians, whether it be traffic tickets, you know, which they're calling me every day about that, or, you know, just contractual stuff. Like it's great to be able to help and give back. And that's another reason why, you know, we wanted to start an organization where there's professionals and musicians all together, you know, for the musician. But like I said, I stacked the cards, man. I was an attorney. I've been into music for 10 years, and I still got, you know, the wool pulled over my eyes once. But so it happens, you know, to the best of us. But no, being a lawyer, it's interesting to say that my fallback is an attorney. But, you know, people take me seriously, which is cool. Maybe for, you know, they shouldn't, but they do. So I don't complain.
Now, where do you practice?
I don't actually practice much at all now.
Where are you admitted to?
In New York.
In New York?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, New York
For
attorney.
sure. Yeah.
No, it's cool though that, you know, your fallback, as you said, it is something that can actually help you with your own career too.
Is a New York lawyer. She's good.
Yeah.
For sure. And the other thing it's helped with is music is expensive, man. It's expensive to get going. So that has been a big help too, of course, because, you know, law school, I guess, had its perks and taught me some good skills so that, you know.
But it's not cheap.
Heck no, it's not cheap.
Have you found yourself in situations where where that's really come in handy, you know, as far as somebody asks you to sign something? And
absolutely. The biggest thing that it's come in handy for, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'm saying it, is bartering. So a lot of people in music business find themselves in sticky situations every day. And a lot of times I'm the first call of a lot of great people who have a lot of great skills, and a lot of times it's not a thing of financial gain. It's a thing of how can I help you if you help me. So the biggest way that it's helped me for sure is that factor. I get a lot of calls from really cool people every single day, and I'm able to network with them. I'm able to help, you know, hopefully, or at least point them in the right direction, and hopefully utilize, you know, the profession of that person, or so on and so forth. In terms of contracts, it's been okay, but law is hard because there's just so many of them. You know, and you can't know them all. So, I mean, Google is a lawyer's best friend. I swear, you know, so, but yeah, it's been all right.
Yeah.
See, I always took issue with that. If your ignorance is no excuse for breaking the law, is what we say. but there's how many reams of laws? There's no way any human being could potentially know all the laws.
That's what I tried to tell my professors, but they weren't having it. It was weird.
Yeah.
It's real weird.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't give me that beat.
There ought to be a law to change it. No, sorry.
Yeah, seriously. I feel you.
Where did you go to law school?
Syracuse.
Okay. Yeah. And you have a specific connection here, right? New Hampshire that we talked about before, right? Is it somebody here you've worked with?
I recorded here. There was an awesome Rocking Horse Studio or something. I think.
Oh
was
yeah,
here locally.
Yep.
I think it was awesome. Is that something that rings a bell?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Very very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that must have been it because awesome place.
Brian Coombs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've
That's
been there. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I've interviewed him. Yeah.
Case closed.
Yep. That's what it was. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Did you actually? Well, where did you record End of the World? Did you do that there?
No, I did End of the World in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh.
Actually, parts of it everywhere, but we went to the Sweetwater studio, which is really cool. Sweetwater is a giant music company you probably heard of. They have studios there, which is cool. But my producer randomly lives in Fort Wayne and has his own little studio there. So I flew out to Fort Wayne and we tracked half of this record. So End of the World was like the first song that we did, and it turned out that it was our favorite. So
okay.
Yeah, we put it all on the table. Round one, but yeah. For sure.
Was that a hard decision as far as releasing the single so far ahead of everything else? Or?
Yeah, well, it wasn't supposed to be that way, but with my implosion situation, it had to be. Like, our record was supposed to come out in the summer, and we had singles, but everything, we had to start over. So,
yeah.
I don't want to say that it was wasted, because, I mean, any music that's out there is never waste, but at the same time, like, you work so hard on this timeline and keep the flow, and the flow completely stopped. Like, up until these last 2 weeks when I've been out doing these, interviews, everything stopped. So
yeah,
it was one of my favorite songs, but I think we have other good ones, hopefully, that'll keep the people happy. So we'll see. But it sucked to that whole shebang. Terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Would not recommend 0 out of 10. So
yeah.
But here we are.
You know what, though? I think it's really cool that you're sharing that, and especially coming from your experience, because it does present itself as a cautionary tale to others that here, even though you're an attorney and you've been, you got scammed, it does happen. Don't think you're immune. It can happen to you.
It can happen to anybody.
Exactly.
Like I said, 3 years of law school and a bar exam, and I still fell for it. So,
Yeah.
But it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
No, people suck. But
it's
just terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
And musicians, the other thing about people like that, and this is, once again, cautionary for other musicians, is your dream, when somebody tells you, I can make all of these things happen, like, you don't even want to listen that it might be not real,
right.
And in fact, some of the clients, this person is still taking clients, and bands are calling me, the last couple of weeks, it really came out that this person's not real, and they were calling me, and some of the band members, like, one band member said to the other, like, listen, guys, like, she's not real. We spent a lot of money with her, like, we got to stop. And the other band members kicked him out of the band because they just didn't want to hear it.
Oh, wow.
So they're talking to me this week, so they'll change their mind. But, it's like, when someone's selling you a dream, you just, the analogy I use is like, do you know the feeling of when you're underwater and like somebody's holding you under, and that urge to breathe that you have? It's like scary. That's how bad you want it. You'll buy into it, and you want it if it ends up being nonsense, and it's nonsense, but that's exactly like what it is. It's predatory. It's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Absolutely. Our friend Alex Whiteley from the UK has a question. Actually, this could be for both of you, but he's asking, has your guest ever dropped a pick in a guitar or have any other funny things happen during a performance?
You take that one, Jimmy.
Of course. How can you not? It happens all the time. You just make the best of it. Hope no one watches,
Yeah.
These. Keep going.
Yeah. You ever have anything really unusual happen, or?
What unusual hasn't happened? I mean, every performance, something goes wrong, and I'm upset for hours and hours. But it always works out. Whether it's throwing a pick, breaking a string, the other musicians don't show up to play. Jimmy's great. Just kidding.
No,
Jimmy's the best.
That won't happen.
Anything crazy. I fell off. I took a step. This is the worst. I was in Detroit, Michigan, playing the Ritz. I remember it. It's an old rock club. It almost looks like a bowling alley converted into a club. They have a huge stage, and really for no reason, because like 50 people were there. But huge stage, like huge room, and then on top of the huge stage, they have like a 4-foot drum riser. And I decided, this is when I was playing guitar. I was a guitarist. I decided to jump off the riser. It didn't end well. However, I kept playing on the floor. back on the floor, like off. But it was bad. It deeply hurt my leg, and I won't be doing that again. But that was probably the dumbest thing that's happened, and I'll never forget that. But yeah, stage jumps, bad idea.
Were you able to keep going, or what happened?
I was playing literally laid out flat on the floor. I finished the song, and then we had to call it quits after that.
Wow.
I'll never forget that. Oh, awful, for sure. But the show must go on, you know?
What kind of a band was it? Because that sounds very punk rock.
It was. We were covering I think it was a Paramore song when it happened. So that was a super punk rocky thing to do. So no, that was absolutely it. The right moment hits and you just want to go for it. And the problem is my legs, they didn't want to go for it. So bad judgment call, but I live to tell about it.
Was it Misery Business by any chance? I'm just asking because I love that song.
That is a great song. And it was either Misery Business or it was Still Into You. Actually, I think it was Still Into You. I don't know, but
yeah,
Misery Business is a banger too. So I could see that happening. But absolutely.
How about you, Jimmy? Anything like really unusual or?
I mean, not too much. Nothing that really sticks to my mind. Something always happens, but once again, it happens. It's live. People are watching. You just keep going. That's all you can really do, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't, but even then, you just keep on going.
Now, how did you? So we haven't. You're still a mystery to us at this point in the conversation.
I like to be a mystery.
Do you like to be a mystery?
Sometimes I like to be a mystery.
Of course. Jimmy actually. This is his first live performance with me ever today.
Ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So extra bonus.
One of those things I spoke about before when the band doesn't show up to play happened at my very last live gig, and it was my hometown, which is not cool. So we had to restructure. Yeah. Oh. So I sort of wiped the slate, and a really good friend of mine who is actually rides horses with me introduced me to Jimmy, who's actually end up being my drummer.
Oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. That's another thing we didn't talk about.
He's actually a drummer, but he stepped up for me for this little radio gig and allowed me to, not have to play, which is fun. So,
do you have to? Jimmy's phone.
We have a timeout.
It's okay. No worries.
Are you going to put him in timeout?
TV timeout, guys. Okay. No, he's fine.
So what? So you had somebody not show up at your hometown show?
The person showed up, but he wasn't physically present. He wasn't mentally present, I should say. Yeah.
Oh, really?
A couple, yeah. So when I'm just really, especially your hometown show, and it was a big show, it was a festival, a lot of people there.
Yeah.
You need the band to be great, and when it's not great, I get frustrated.
Yeah.
Really, and I had one of the people who are now on my management team was there too, and it was, it's just not the look that I wanted. So onwards and upwards, and that's the thing about musicians is I have a really high caliber of taste. So Jimmy's great, and I'm really happy that he's here with me today.
Yeah. Excellent.
For sure.
Do you have any plans as far as when you're going to start playing live shows at venues again, or are you more focused on the album? Or
I focus on the album right now. Some in part because it's not completely finished out yet, and some in part because I don't like traveling when it's cold outside.
Yeah, I hear you.
I am a fair weather, tour. So probably this summer we'll be back out.
Yeah, there you go.
For sure.
You've got a marriage proposal in the chat room. John Piazzo, or Piazzo, however you say it, says, "Will Molly marry me?"
As honored as I am, I cannot. I'm sorry, but thank you, John. That's very sweet.
It's kind of putting you on the spot there.
He's way putting me on the spot, but it's all right. I'm ready for it. Thank you.
How about you, Jimmy? Would you be interested in marrying John? Since Molly turned
Would
him
I
down?
be interested in marrying John?
Yeah.
Does he have a beard?
That's a good question.
Oh boy.
I mean,
I can't tell.
If he
from
does,
the,
would he be willing to shave? No,
I can't tell from the.
No, sir. I'm just
This
kidding.
turned into the match game real quick.
No, I thank you, but no, thank you. I would not be willing to marry John.
Yeah.
And who's behind door number 2?
I'd buy John a coffee, but maybe not.
Oh, well, that's
sweet.
That's a good first start. Yes. Very good. Molly Diago here with us on the couch, and Jimmy as well. And by the way, so I notice on do you try to use professionally as far as music the shortened version of your name, but you still, because online it's a little confusing.
I know. So my headphones are out here. So I, it's hard to spell and pronounce the name. So
yeah,
I made the decision with my first management crew early on the process to just slash the name in half.
Yeah.
What we didn't take into account is the name Diago without the apostrophe is very close to an Italian slur. So Facebook would not allow me to use that as my last name on our fan page stuff. So Instagram would, but Facebook wouldn't. So I know it sucks.
Oh, interesting.
But once we had the trademarks and everything, we had to stick with it. So no. But that is my real last name. But
that explains a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot of people can't spell it, can't pronounce it. So I'm like, we're just gonna,
Yeah. That explains a lot. But even with the apostrophe, Facebook won't let you do that?
It wouldn't. No, it said no. You have to use a real name. This is
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the story. Actually, a really good friend of mine sort of was calling me Diago when I was like high school soccer team or something. So it worked.
Yeah.
And, here we are. But Facebook says no.
Wow.
Rude. And I am Italian, so I'm like, I'm all right with it.
Right.
So yeah, that we didn't really think that one through, but now we're too far in, to change. So we're good.
Well, but you also couldn't have known. I mean, because I'm genuinely surprised that even with the apostrophe, Facebook gives you a hard time.
I know. I mean, believe me, so are we.
Yeah. I think what we'll do is I'm going to play as we go into break, because Molly and Jimmy are going to perform live after the break. As we go to break, I was thinking I would play this track, Lifetime. And Molly, you explained it last time you were on the show, but do you want to tell us about this again, this song? This is a duet, and it's interesting how this came about.
It is crazy how this came about, and I know we don't have all day to to go through the story, but originally the song was written, I went to Detroit with a really good friend of mine, Hugo Ferreira, who actually is the one who recommended those things, the tarts.
The tarts? Oh.
Yeah. Oh. That's them and his mom. So great, awesome people, good friends of mine. I flew, I was working with him on some things, and we wrote the song together in Detroit with Chuck Alkazian, who's a cool producer. And things happened, a lot of drama, and the song didn't end up coming out. But Waylon, who's another really good friend of mine, knew that the song was really important to me, and he wanted to make sure it still got out there. So he stepped up. It was written as a duet between me and Hugo, but some stuff happened, and it didn't work. And so Waylon, who is a Mushroom Head and now a Killer's Confession, stepped up to do the song. And it came out 3-4 years ago, and it was just a fun thing to do, and I'm forever indebted to him for stepping up and making sure the song made it to the airwaves. So
yeah
for sure.
So I assume you've probably never had an opportunity to perform it live with him.
I did. I went on tour with
you did?
Hugh, actually, yes, both of them. I went on tour with Waylon, and right before COVID we went out and performed the song, which was really fun on his tour. And then I played it with Hugo. We had a show together in this past August, and Hugo was on the bill too, so he came out and sang the song with my band. So it was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the song is completely full circled at this point. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Absolutely.
What was there, just like industry drama that helped things
everything. So anyone who knows me and Hugo is laughing right now, but we are like brother and sister in a lot of ways, and he always sort of getting into it with each other. We have good days and bad days,
Yeah.
So a lot of it was just that. It was just brothers and sisters that get into a fight, and then the mom has to split us up for a few months, and then we come back together, and everything's great. So I can't even. There's been so many sort of off and ons with us in my life that I don't even remember what the problem was, but nonetheless, there was some sort of an issue. But like I said, right now we're really good friends, and he's helping me with actually it's really his brainchild, his Blue Room talent, which I talked about a little bit earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's actually the boss man, Hugo Boss, I call him. For that. Yeah, so we're good right now, knock on wood. But
very good.
For sure. But one of my best friends, for sure. So,
yeah. Excellent. Did this ever appear on an album, or just only as a single?
No, it was just a single. I just put it out there and, hope for the best. But it actually is another version of it's going to be on my album, Sneak Peek.
Oh,
perhaps
good.
With Hugo, perhaps not. But so my first little effort as a singer, and I'm glad to see someone still playing it.
Sit here all alone, flip a page and engage
Molly Diago is with us and Jimmy, and they're going to perform a couple of songs live, and really looking forward to this. But in the meantime, check this out. This is Lifetime. And we've got some special people here going to play some music for us. Molly Diago is with us in studio.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And on the couch over there, we have Jimmy on guitar. And we don't know much about him. He's very mysterious. I don't even know your last name. Do you want to tell us?
It's Freed.
Freed. Jimmy Freed. All right, very good.
Free Jimmy.
And Molly and Jimmy are going to play a couple of songs for us live.
Play End of the World, which I believe you said you still have in rotation.
That's right. Anything
Cool.
anything you want us to know about this before you play it?
This was my first Billboard Top 40 rock single, and I am eternally grateful for it, and I'm eternally grateful for people like you guys to keep streaming me, because that's the only way we get there. So thank you so much. Hopefully we sound all right, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. Right, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right, very good. Whenever you're ready.
Is there any remedy for a broken heart that still bleeds? Tell me how to sew it all up. Whoa, I feel like there's nothing left. I'm blind to any cause and effect. You don't see the skin that you cut. Whoa, well, I remember when we were in the fire. Take me there again. If it's gonna make this right, I'd be willing to wait till the end of the world. The end of the world. If I had to fake this fight, I would gamble my life until the end of the world. The end of the world with you. I'm crazy I'd have to be to tell you what you mean to me. Will you ever let down your guard? Maybe time's running out. Maybe I'm still full of doubt, but nothing worth saving is not. Well, I remember when we were in the fire. Take me there again. If it's gonna make this right, I'd be willing to wait until the end of the world. The end of the world. If I fake this fight, I would gamble my life until the end of the world. The end of the world with you. And I can't tell that this is real. There's no more rush, straight from the source. So we hold on to what we feel, not changing mind, not changing course. I remember when, take me there again. If it's gonna make this right, I'd be willing to wait till the end of the world. The end of the world. If I had to fake this fight, I would gamble my life till the end of the world. The end of the world with you. The end of the world with you. The end of the world with you. I Mad Connors Unleashed. End of the world with Jenny too. The end of the world with you. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Wonderful. Reverb, schmeberb, you don't need it.
I do, but thank you.
Sounded great, Molly.
I love that song.
That sounded great. Wonderful.
Oh, I love that song. This is so
Thank
cool
you so
getting to hear
much.
you. I have my own little private concert.
Yeah.
I'm a happy
Just for
girl.
you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was awesome. Yes.
Absolutely. When you play out, so obviously you're not going to be touring again. It'll be after the
It'll be a few
holidays.
more
But
months, yep.
but do you have any covers planned, or will it be all original material when you do go
actually,
out?
we threw we played some shows this year, and we threw Foo Fighters in there.
Did you? Yeah.
And that was so fun. Yeah, for sure. But my start was, of course, as most of us start as a cover band, artist, and I was a hired gun for other people's music, so kind of like covers, but also not. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of covers that I love to do all the time, but of course the people came to see my stuff too, so it's a nice balance. But yeah, absolutely.
Now, when you played in cover bands, what was did you play in? Did you do any? Were you in any tribute bands, or were just bands that did a variety of artists?
I was really young. I was young at the time. I was like 16, 17, and at the time, because I was young and my dad was a drummer, I just went and did whatever he was doing because he was my ride. So
okay.
Yeah. So
did you play in a band with him?
I did, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Actually, my first rock and roll tour was my dad, and that is the most anti-rock and roll thing ever. I remember being so excited, and there's cute boys everywhere, but then my dad was just there, constantly, but it was okay. He kept us together. But so I started doing cover bands back in New York. And like I said, he was my ride most of the time, so I just played with. He played a lot of country and classic rock stuff. So
yeah,
fun though, fun until, like I said, I wanted to take it to a bigger level, So but I learned a lot. I learned a lot of licks and scales and stuff from the greats. So
yeah,
it helps to form me as a player, at the time, or a guitar player. So yeah,
no doubt. Does he still play?
Yeah, he does. Actually, he. I think just joined a country band near Greensboro. I think Charlotte, North Carolina. He is now. So, he still plays. He's got his little trailer. He's got his little drum kit, and he loves it. So, and he played drums when he was a kid, and then stopped. And then when I showed interest in music, he picked up the drums again for me. So we could play and do things. So,
oh, cool.
I owe a lot of my music, I guess, talent and excitement to him for sure.
Yeah, very cool. How long did you play in bands with him?
Probably 3-4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, a good amount of time. And for every year, there was always a dramatic band breakup between me and him.
For real, yeah.
Oh yeah, like he quit the band one time when we were in Washington D.C. on tour. He called up his girlfriend at the time. He's like, "I'm done with these kids," and he walked away. And we got him back,
Yeah.
But I remember because of such a calamity that night with the band, he wasn't playing. It was a big drama thing.
Oh.
We ended up leaving like a guitar and his drum stool at the venue. It was an ordeal. But yeah, like father-daughter, like we would go at it. And like I said, he quit the band, then he'd join again. I'd quit the band, we'd join again, So it was a lot of drama years. And it set me up for what I would experience later on in life in the music industry, because
yeah, so good experience in that way. It kind of prepares you for a lot of
the
that.
dramatics. Yeah.
What was he the only older person in the band?
In the cover bands, no. In the band that we toured with, he was the only old guy.
Yeah.
It was like 17-year-old kids, and then Joe, who was like 50.
Oh, no kidding.
So, but he drove us everywhere, and he made sure we were good, and he bang the Skins every night.
Yeah,
that was the drum riser that I jumped off of, was his. So it's
no kidding. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's full circle show moment here, but yeah.
Oh wow,
for sure.
Yeah, and you do you play anything other than guitar?
Not well, but yes. I had a studio for some time in New York, and so I'm trying to. The best thing about a studio is you can play something and then hear it back immediately, you know, and you can build a song off that. So I had to learn to play other instruments, of course, bass guitar is really simple. I say that, I'm no pro. And my first instrument was the clarinet. My second instrument was the drums, and then third was guitar. And guitar was really what I loved. So
yeah.
stuck to it. And singing was the very last in line, and I only did it out of necessity. Yeah, for sure. I'm not super confident. Still very young in career as a singer, for sure.
Oh wow,
huh. Absolutely.
When you it's funny what you said about the bass, because I'm a bass player.
Oh, and I might have insulted you. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. That's what's funny about it, because I say something about it all the time. What you said reminded me, because I say this and other bass players get mad at me. But when I was a kid, I started out on guitar, and then but I wasn't very disciplined. I was one of those lazy kids. I was like, if I wasn't good at something right away, I'd get discouraged quickly. And
sure.
So I didn't really stick with it. But then I remember in high school picking up a bass, and I was like, oh, 2 fewer strings, and I don't have to learn any chords.
Heck yeah!
I think I found my instrument, and it turned out I did find my instrument. But it was kind of that's how I found my instrument.
Do you still play it today, like actively?
I haven't played in a long time. No, I've been in a bunch of bands, but I haven't. But it's been a while. It's been a while.
What's up? What did you play? Like what kind of stuff?
I was in a bunch of different bands. So I was in a couple of metal bands. I was in the last project I did was it was Chemical Distance. It was like a mix of hip hop and industrial. Very hard to describe. Because we had a very unusual sound. But yeah, a couple metal bands, a few metal bands. Those mostly, stuff where I could. Flail myself around a lot without having to play particularly well.
Was that your segue into radio, like music?
Sort of, because I started out, so I was in a band called First Shove, and we were invited to be on actually it was before the term podcast was even used. It was this friend of mine, Hammer, he had an internet station called RageRockRadio.com, and he had a show called The Metal Classroom, and we went to be interviewed on that, and they kind of needed a new host. And
wait a second, not Rock Rage Rock.
Right. I know that. Rage Rock Radio. Okay. I know there's a Rock Rage Radio. Yeah,
that's my whole management team is.
Oh no, kidding.
Rage. Yeah,
oh, okay.
I'm like, wow, that'd be awesome if you're a host on that.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, no, this was Rage Rock Radio, which is not around anymore, unfortunately. But so we were on that show, and the Hammer who ran it, he thought that I might be good as a host. So he offered me the opportunity to start hosting and interviewing bands, and that was really kind of how I started. And one thing led to another.
And here you are.
And here I am.
And it was super side note, but I would love the origin story of the name Hammer.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
If you're not MC, but.
Yeah, I don't even.
That's an odd name to have, right? I'm just trying to think of the ways that people would come about the name Hammer.
Yeah. I know he used to have Hammer Time on his license plate. I don't know if he still does.
That's awesome.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
Is that his real name, Hammer?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That would be more interesting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So music always leads to one thing or another.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with all of us, But,
yeah.
And Jenny, did you play anything or sing or jam or?
I sang.
She does sing.
I stink.
What?
I'm good enough for at home when I'm making things.
So how does Matt know that then? Have you sang here?
No, I sing at home.
No, she sings at home.
Yeah, loudly.
Oh.
I turn the music on in the whole house and just have a blast and cook things.
But it was a known thing that you were a singer, so you must be pretty good.
Yeah.
If it's talked about.
No, it's not talked about. So I sang through choruses and a select vocal ensemble. My claim to fame was to be able to sing the Lacrimosa in Latin and soprano.
Wow.
Then I got hit by a car, so I didn't end up getting to do Semspa. But
wait.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
So yeah, that got weird. And I did back up for a band for a little while, but we never really made it out of the basement.
I've had a few of those.
But it was fun. It was fun times.
Nice.
I used to dream of Ithaca.
Really? They have a good music program there?
Back then, yeah. I'm much older than thee, and yes.
I don't know if I'd say that. My goodness.
Previously, with the bands that you played in the cover bands, did you go on tour around? Where did you go? Where have you played?
All over the place.
Yeah.
Both with my own bands and with other bands. I did the little bit of the hired gun thing where basically you need a guitarist. All right, I'm going. And I got to do some cool things there. So all over the place. You know, I've been super lucky. But like I said, Manchester, New Hampshire is my new favorite. So
yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
I finally found home, No, just kidding. But
when
no,
are you
it's a great
moving?
place.
We are about out of time. But thank you both. This has been wonderful.
Absolutely.
And Molly Diago, I hope to have you back again soon. And when the next single is out, we'll play it. We'll be the
You're
first.
The best.
Absolutely. But before we go, please tell us what we need to know to find you online, on social media, and
sure. I think it's to the point where if you Google me, all of that will pop up. But
yes,
come say hi on Facebook, Instagram, all those things. And of course, anywhere where music is streamed, I guess, Spotify, Apple Music. We appreciate the listens, the likes, the heart, all of that stuff. So thank you guys. Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it. And happy to come back if you'll have us.
Of course, anytime.
Is there any remedy for a broken heart that still bleeds? Show me how to sew it all up. Feeling like there's nothing left. Blend to any cause and effect. You don't see the skin that you cut.